Hey, if you're a business owner and you feel like there's just not as much meat on the bone as you were hoping when it comes to the end of the month and wanting more available cash flow, there's really two places that we look right off the bat. And these two things can make a huge difference if you change them in a way that can actually exponentially change how much profit you're actually bringing into your company. So the first one is your acquisition cost. What does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? One of the biggest challenges we've seen working with over 250 clients, six, seven, and eight-figure companies, is that they're actually not tracking their cost to acquire a customer, especially if they're using things like paid channels, right? So referrals and word of mouth, a little bit different to truly assess what's the cost to acquire a customer. But if you're in the million to multiple millions, eight-figure range, you're likely using some kind of paid acquisition. And we're finding that a lot of companies aren't actually getting into the nitty-gritty of tracking the detail of what it's actually costing to acquire that customer and what's the return on ad spend. So that's number one. And if you're able to track that, for example, we had a client the other day who's doing 500,000 a year, didn't realize they had a 6x return on their Google ad spend. And so they want to fill up their remaining practitioner. And we said, hey, you have a lever here of Google ads. We're just not spending enough. And we're seeing a 6x return on ad spend. We've got to look at putting more into that channel and seeing if we can hold that at 6x ROI. And you'll be able to actually fill that practitioner's calendar. The second thing is, what does it actually cost you to fulfill your services? So this is in particular if you're a service-based business, what is the actual cost to fulfill that service? So for example, if you sell a $10,000 service, but it costs you $5,000 to deliver that service, what are the ways in that we can either bring down the cost to fulfill that service, or if we can't bring that down, we have to look at how do we change our pricing strategy to be able to improve the margin. And so these are the two easiest ways, or at least most easy to look at ways of potentially changing your profit margin. So if you're interested in that, if you're like, hey, I need to get this better, we've got a whole workshop on how to improve your margins and understanding your profit margins. Just comment margins below and I'll send you the training for free. It's a half an hour workshop. We go through and explain everything about how to better understand your profit margins.